Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Divine Feminine Healers podcast. It is your host, Angelica here, Ayurvedic practitioner and spiritual business owner. And you have just me on the podcast this week. And I'm starting with an energy update on the eclipse season and the major transits that we're going through, as I know we're feeling a lot and it feels intense. And then I'm going to leave the second half of this podcast to do a Reiki healing so that no matter where you are in time and in space, you'll be able to receive the healing energy of Reiki. So, what is going on with this eclipse? So, the eclipse officially started Wednesday, April 19th, and eclipse is actually starts a season where it's a 2-week incubator time for us to really go inward. Eclipses signify shadows. As we know, that's when the moon and the sun and the earth aligned and they create these shadows. So during this 2-week time period, a lot of times our shadows can rise up to the surface. So places where we've been hiding and neglecting are going to start to become made more visible. So sometimes during eclipse cycles, it could feel intense because the universe is asking you to look at your deepest shadow that you may have not looked at, that you may have been avoiding, or you may have just been caught in illusion and not have seen. Sometimes this can also feel intense. So, this, of course, always depends on our astrological birth chart and, of course, how we're working with our current energies. There's a lot of factors at play. But why it can feel intense and sometimes it feels like the ground is shaking from underneath us is because eclipses, it is said that usually what we go through in a 6-month period happens in a 6-week period. So during this time, we actually are shifting quite quickly. And that's why it can feel intense because sometimes it feels like the rug is being pulled from underneath us. Basically, this is just saying anything that is out of alignment with your soul's true desires is going to be made quite apparent. And a lot of us, if we're really attached to those old ego identities or relationships, it's going to feel difficult to let those go. So, this isn't always the case for everyone. If you've been really on top of your shadow work and letting things go, and you've already been going through a deep transformation, it may feel a little subtle to you. You actually may have done a lot of that clearing and feel like a lot of new ideas are starting to come up. So that's another gift that can happen in the eclipse cycle is that once we're willing to really face these shadows that are coming up, once we're really allowing ourselves to say, okay, I got to let this go. This isn't serving me to hold on anymore, whether it's an old identity of who I thought I was, whether this was an idea that I thought was amazing that I was trying to bring into fruition, whether that was a relationship that I felt so attached to that was so comfy, but it's just not serving me anymore. Once you're willing to see that and accept that it's not serving you anymore and to let it go, you clear and you create space. And in that space, that's where a lot of great insights and new ideas can land. So, eclipses are so important for spiritual insights and for going inward. And for this reason, some great practices during eclipse season is to really get quiet and to really tend to your spiritual practices, which looks so different for everyone. For me, that's doing a mini Kitchery cleanse. Kitchery cleanses are super spiritual for me because they really help me to tune into what brings me joy in life. Food brings me a lot of joy, I will say that. But when I'm eating a mono diet of Kitchery on this cleanse, I truly connect with what else brings me joy in my life. Where else can I find soul nourishment? Where else can I find the pause and the not need to numb with certain things? And how can I truly feel the inner transformation that's occurring in my body right now? Other ways you can connect with your spirituality is meditation, doing women's circles, going out in nature, tarot, pulling oracle cards. I mean, there's literally so many ways. So, whatever is in your arsenal, just stack up on all of those things these next couple of weeks because it'll ground you and it'll help prepare you for what's to come. So, let's talk specifically what's happening astrologically. So, this new moon in which the solar eclipse begins is in Aries. And of course, I'm speaking to Vedic astrology. Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. It's fiery, it's entrepreneurial. It's very this like explosive energy when I tune into it. And it's ruled by Mars. Mars is the planet of passion and the planet of moving forward and being bold and adventurous. And it's also known as that teenage boy. So it's got that very like bombastic type of energy. So it's kind of crazy that we're starting eclipse season with this very big, fiery energy. And I'm already tuning into this because as I'm recording this, it's today is the new moon, and it feels like a lot of energy and it feels like a lot of new beginnings are coming forward. So a lot of people in my community, we just went through a cleanse together. We just went through this great inner transformation. They've already done a lot of their clearing work. They've already created a lot of space in their lives. So if that's you, you may already starting to be feeling these new beginnings and opportunities that are coming forward towards you. Now, if you are not feeling that, you may need to clear something so that they can land more or so that you could see them as opportunities because they may be coming towards you, but you may be saying, no, that's not for me because you're still attached to this other thing that's what you're holding on to. So just staying close to wherever you are at with these energies is super important. Now, what also is happening is that this new moon is specifically in the star sign of Ashwini. And Ashwini is very related to healers, tending to the body, and it's related to being connected to our personal healing journey. So, if you are someone who is a healer, you are going to really find that this new moon may be shifting you to new beginnings on your journey as a healer. Aries is also represents manifestations. So there may be new ideas, there may be new opportunities that are coming forward to you as a healer. And another thing that I've been feeling into is our connection to our physical body. As a healer, you know, this is like literally you need this in order to heal others, in order to feel alive in your body. But especially staying close to your body with these next couple of weeks is going to be really important. Specifically, I've been getting the message to ground your nervous system, to really be in your body. One of the things that I love for this is Reiki healing experiences. I lead these every moon ceremony, and we are going to be doing a bunch of Reiki healings and my Reiki 1 and 2 certification, which is a 7-week course to become Reiki certified. In this 7-week course, we will have weekly trainings and we will have weekly activations. So, in those activations, you'll be able to receive the Reiki energy. You're going to get a little taste of what that's like at the end of this podcast. And you're also going to receive the Reiki energy so that you can have the ability to start not only sharing it with others and healing others, but by the end of this course, you're going to be able to start charging for your services and creating an abundance for you. So it's coming at the perfect time because we're in this eclipse portal where you're going to be able to go inward, to tend to your healing journey, and to really begin to step into your identity as a healer. So now back to the energy of the new moon. Super good time always in new moons is to rest, and especially going into eclipse season, it's a really good time. So if you've been really external or if you've had a lot of things on your schedule, it may be a good time to clear those away because you want to get quiet enough that you can start to receive these insights and messages that are coming through you. Otherwise, they're going to probably just go right over your head. Now, what also is happening is on Friday, April 21st, Jupiter, after being in the sign for Pisces for over a year, is moving into the sign of Aries. This is a really big transition. Whenever a major planet, I talked a lot about when Saturn was moving to Capricorn and Aquarius, that was a huge energy shift. The same thing happens with Jupiter because it is one of the biggest planets. So we're going to feel that shift. Jupiter moving from Pisces into Aries in Vedic astrology, when a planet moves from a water sign to a fire sign, it's called a Gadanta. That means a really big and intense transformation that can occur because it's moving from the water sign that's very calm and feminine and flowy to the fire sign that's very clearing and activating and transforming. So this transition can feel a bit abrupt. And specifically, when a big planet moves into a new sign, it's considered in its sensitive time period. So, like the 3 or so days on either side when that transit happens, we can feel a little uneasy, like a little bit like the energy is very overwhelming and a little sporadic. So, especially those who have a lot of influence of Jupiter in their chart. So if you have a lot of Pisces and Sagittarius in your chart, you're going to feel this transit a lot. If you are a healer and someone who relates to being a light worker, you're going to feel the effects of Jupiter more because Jupiter rules the healers. It is the guides, it's the wisdom keepers. So it's really important to stay grounded these next couple of days. I definitely am feeling this kind of like, ooh, it's exciting energy, but it feels kind of like it's in a lot of different places. So, super important to tend to your grounding and to listen to your body and what it needs, and finding lots of space and stillness during these times. And then the final transit is that Mercury is in retrograde, which I know a lot of times we're like doom and gloom because everything that we hear in the media. But truly, retrograde times are cleanup work. They are a gift given to us from the astro gods to slow down, to look back at where we need to clean up, specifically when it's in Mercury around communication, around networking, around our online e commerce businesses. So, these areas of your life may be highlighted right now for you to really slow down in. So, ultimately, basically, the energy is asking us to slow down and go inward. And I know because I have a lot of fiery beings who listen to this podcast, myself included, that that's not the energy we're usually accustomed to. We usually like to have these new beginnings. We want the manifestations to start to come through. We want to move forward with the energy. And to a certain degree, you may be feeling like that with the new moon in Aries, like, oh, I've got these ideas and these new beginnings, and I feel like new opportunities are coming forward. While you're in the eclipse cycle, it is best not to start something completely new. That is the only advice that's usually given, is if something is presented in eclipse cycle, it can be unstable, and just to sit with it and pause with it and marinate it until after eclipse cycle. If it still feels like a good idea, if that opportunity still feels like it's aligned for you, then definitely go for it. But even from my own experience, because I get a lot of ideas and downloads all the time, I know if I'm going to get a new idea that happens and occurs in the eclipse cycle portal, I'm going to need to pause and chew on it until eclipse season is over, and then I can really start to act on it. So that should also give you a lot of relief that nothing has to be done. We don't need to just act out of trauma or that urgency response that things need to be done and that we're behind. Just notice if that's coming up for you. That comes up a lot whenever we get new ideas is, oh, I got to get on top of it before it flees. But truly allow yourself to really be in relationship with this idea and allow it to bloom. Maybe it just needs to be watered throughout these couple of weeks. Maybe you can really tend to it and listen to it and make it into a beautiful flower so that after eclipse cycle happens, it can come into its full bloom. Now, if you've already started like launching a course or something before eclipse cycle, you can definitely complete that and see it through. That specific advice was merely if you have an idea, an insight that comes through because we're in eclipse cycle and that's what happens, is just to sit with it for a little bit. Now, getting a little bit deeper into manifestations, because I know that that word is exciting and fun, but truly, in order for our manifestations to come into bloom, for us to be connected to them, it asks us to really connect with our soul's desires. And those who've been working with manifestation know that if your ego desires something and goes after it, and it doesn't come through, you know that's not what your soul really wanted. Otherwise, it would have came through really quickly. When you're in alignment and relationship with that manifestation, it comes in through right away. And this is really hard because it's not that we're intentionally trying to manifest from our ego. It's just that we've been conditioned, and our culture, we naturally attach to our desires that may be related to our ego. So, why I think this is so special and important right now, too, is Jupiter is the planet of the soul. Jupiter is our heart's desires. And when it is in the sign of Aries, it's asking us exactly this. What does your heart truly want in this world? What do you truly desire to create, to bring into life, to bring into full vision? So, this is such a good time when Jupiter moves into Aries on Friday, April 21st, and during this eclipse cycle to really question that. And that's my wisdom for the new moon is if you like to journal, definitely write down these journal prompts. This is something that I'm contemplating too. What are my heart's true desires? What is my heart's truest calling? And just start to get yourself in that state of visualizing, of connecting to your heart's inner longings. And before sometimes those manifestations come through, as I mentioned, a clearing needs to happen. So you may notice that some of your ego identities are going to fall away, and that's uncomfortable, but be willing to see them as that. Trust that those are what the ego wanted, and you're okay letting go those false identities in order for you to really connect with what your true heart's desires are. And as healers, we know that that's going to be connected to connecting with our soul gifts, connecting with our intuition, and being able to share a divine feminine voice with the world. It's time for that. So, if those who are truly ready to connect with their soul's gifts want to connect to their intuition and start sharing their gifts with the world, today is the last day to sign up for my Reiki 1 and 2 certification course. It's a 7-week course to deeply heal your energetic body, to restore the ki and the flow in your body, and to also awaken your intuitive gifts. Truly, when you awaken to your intuitive gifts, you awaken to your soul's desires. You get messages from spirit. You understand exactly what you're here to create into this life because your soul is expressing itself through you. And in that process, you get to share those gifts with others. Truly, that is why I feel I incarnated in a human body in this lifetime, is to share my intuitive gifts with the world, because there's no better feeling that than finding your own authentic expression. So this is all something that we explore throughout the 7 weeks. And by the end of the 7 weeks, you'll be Reiki 1 and 2 certified. You'll be an energy healer, learning how to work with your own energies, how to set strong energetic boundaries so that you no longer have to hook into other ego desires of culture and what other people want, but you hook into what your own soul's desires and needs are. And you can start sharing your gifts with the world and charging for your services. Once you're Reiki 2 certified, you can start charging for your services. And in this course, I also be sure that you can start setting up however you want that to look like for you so that you can feel authentic when you're sharing your gifts and also start receiving some abundance. So I'll have the link in the show notes for those who feel called to take on my Reiki 1 and 2 certification course. It's one of my favorite courses because I get to see everyone experience their intuitive gifts again. I don't want to say for the first time. It may feel like the first time for you, but I know a lot of them have just been lying dormant. And I get to see how each person uniquely wants to start sharing them with the world. You know, I've had some energy healers who, of course, do Reiki sessions with others, but a lot of the times I get a lot of healers who already have experience and they're using Reiki in addition and combining all their gifts together. So for me, I used my Ayurvedic consultations and I brought in Reiki healing energy and intuitive wisdom into those. I've had body workers and massage therapists who now use Reiki and spirituality with their sessions. I've had artists who are writers, and turning into the Reiki gifts allowed them to channel and allowed them to become writers and best-selling authors. So there's truly no limits to how you can truly express these soul gifts and how it becomes really authentic to you. Okay, so I want to leave some time and space at the end of this podcast to receive a Reiki healing. Now, if you are on the go and you're like, I really want to just like be in my bed and totally receive the Reiki energy, I am all for that. Just pause this and come back to it. And if you are in a space where you can get really quiet and still, then find some space to ground. Whether I always recommend a bed or a couch, something that's really comfortable, something that you can feel really safe in. And if a chair or a seat is the only thing that's accessible right now, then you can find a comfortable seat right now. So get really cozy in your space. And if you need to pause this and get all your things together, you may do so. Blankets are great, pillows. And close your eyes and rest your palms on any part of your body that feels comforting. And just start to connect with your breath. without trying to shift it or make it into anything. Just pay attention to its natural rhythm and flow right now. And take a deep diaphragmatic breath. Drop your breath as low into your belly as you can. Fill your belly, expand, and take an open mouth exhale. A couple more deep breaths like that. Inhale, breathe in. Open mouth exhale, release. Last one, inhale, breathe in. And an exhale, release. And now just focus your awareness on your heart center. Feeling the energy of the heart chakra. And noticing any sensations you're feeling in the heart. Allowing everything that is coming forward to be completely present. And now I want you to visualize yourself in a healing body of water. Warm, soothing water. And notice what colors you see in the water. They have fluorescence, sparkly hues. And surrounding this water is divine Reiki energy. And the light coming from the Reiki energy is no ordinary light. It comes from the third heaven and beyond. It's full of unconditional love, purification, transformation, healing. And as you take a deep inhale breath, you breathe in the light of the Reiki energy into your heart as it pours through and breaks open any energetic blockages and purifies the body of any ego attachments it has. And then an open mouth exhale, release. And just continue that process. Inhale as you breathe in the Reiki light into your heart, expanding, purifying, empowering. And an open mouth exhale, release. And continue the cycle of breathing in the Reiki energy and exhaling out for a few minutes. Deep inhale, breathe in the Reiki light. Deep open mouth exhale, release. And now tune into your heart and ask your heart to show you what its truest desires are. Ask your heart what its truest desires are. And allowing this message to come forward however it wants to, as a voice, as a visual, as a knowing, as a feeling. And now asking your guides and your ancestors for support and bringing this seed of desire into full fruition, to send you resources, guidance, symbols, and signs along the way. And if there's a particular sign or symbol you want your guides to send you to let you know that you're on your path, you may ask them to show you that now. And placing your hand on your heart if that feels comfortable. Taking a deep inhale breath and an open mouth exhale. And you can stay here for as long as you'd like. If you're ready to come back into your physical body, gently unblink your eyes open. Gently acclimating back to your space. And I'll just leave everyone with a little message that I tuned into from everyone's guides. And it's to connect to your sense of awe and wonder again, and truly just the magic of life. I think oftentimes we don't go after our soul's desires because we feel like they're too big or that miracle could never happen. It always feels like it's something that's so far and out of reach for us. But when you remember that magic is real and then you tune into that frequency, remember when you were as a kid and whatever that magic was for you that made you just be in that state of awe and wonder. When you get back to that vibration, that you realize that your soul's desires are more than possible. And that's when you can truly expand into your truest identity and who you are and what you want to share in this world. So whatever brings you awe and wonder, start to bring that into your life. For me, that's gazing out at the stars at night. For me, that's working with the Reiki energy. It's sharing my intuitive gifts with others and teaching women to become intuitive healers as well. So connect back to your awe and wonder and let your heart's desires come into full fruition. Thank you so much, everyone who tuned in today. Such a special session and experience with you all. I'd love to hear how these messages landed with you. You can always send me a DM on Instagram and Angelica the Feminine Healer in the show notes if any of this resonated with you, if you had any questions about any of the messages that came through. And I'm so looking forward to this beautiful group who's about to become Reiki certified. And I will connect with you all so very soon. Happy new moon eclipse. Stay well, stay grounded, and I will see you all next time.